On Saturday, July 19th, the World Forestry Center is hosting a free, family-friendly celebration of our forests. Forest Fest, as they're calling it, will have hands-on activities, wood-themed crafts, kid zones, and live demonstrations from forestry professionals and community partners. And on July 19th only, all museum visitors receive a free forest poster with admission. Learn more at worldforestry.org/event/ForestFest or head over to their social media using their handle at World Forestry Center. The 12th annual Montevilla Jazz Festival, presented by Accelerator Design Studios, is back this Labor Day weekend. Between August 29th and the 31st, you can discover the scene, the sound, and the vibe of Portland's most adventurous hometown musicians. There will be more than 25 boundary-pushing concerts across East Portland's historic Montevilla neighborhood and Mount Tabor Park. Get your jazz adventure pass today at montevillajazz.org. Oregon saw the worst wildfire season on record last year, and the estimates are that this year could be just as bad or worse. Fighting wildfires takes a ton of resources, which can put additional strain on fire and rescue workers here in the city. So today on CityCast Portland Fire and Rescue Deputy Chief Chris Barney is here to walk us through how the city is getting prepared for fire season and how they'll respond once the fires spread. It's Tuesday, July 15th. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. Deputy Chief Barney, you're the coordinator at the top, right, of all the fire agencies within Multnomah County during fire season, and you also serve as a go-between for different agencies to communicate. Can you give me a sense of how all of this works? Like, how does Portland deploy firefighters during a normal time? And how would that change during wildfire season?
Sure. Yeah. So in my role with Portland Fire and Rescue, I currently serve as one of the deputy chiefs of emergency operations. We have three of us, one for each shift. But then one of my administrative assignments is wildland fire operational response. Additionally, I am the Multnomah County Fire Defense Board chief. And what that means is by Oregon State statute, each county has a fire defense board, and that is all the fire chiefs or their representatives come together and work together for the purposes of coordination of response within the county. It could be any type of regular mutual aid agreements, coordination with general, just day-to-day response, but then also wildfire response. And then I'm the point of contact that liaisons with the state fire marshal. There's different levels of deployment depending on who's requesting and where we're going. And so I kind of have to wear different hats.
Right. Well, let's talk about that deployment. So firefighters during a normal time, is that vastly different from when there's a wildfire season? Do we have different reserves? Do we have more? Does anything change?
Yeah. So, if we're talking just normal day-to-day response versus wildfire response, yes. I mean, obviously things get a lot busier in the summer. And then the people who deploy out to assist our neighbors, they are Portland firefighters or firefighters from other agencies in the county that have specific wildland fire training, skill sets, and qualifications that allow them to work in different roles. We have firefighters, company officers, chief officers who deploy from Portland Fire and around the county to serve in incident management teams with the State Fire Marshal's Office to help manage the incidents around the state.
Oh, gotcha. So let me ask you this. How do you make sure there's enough firefighters and emergency response workers to cover everything in the summer, since you're dealing with regular city fires, but also the wildfire threats? What changes in between, rainy season and summer season? Same amount of firefighters? I'm assuming no?
Yeah, we don't Portland Fire, nobody in the Multnomah County adds firefighters for the season.
Okay.
So this is one of the challenges of working in the fire service is there's really only a fixed amount of us. There's not many departments who add outside of Oregon Department of Forestry or Clackamas Fire where they add seasonal employees. So we have to, and especially for large incidents, whether it's wildfire or some sort of technical rescue or something like that, if we have an incident anywhere in the state and it gets beyond the capacity for that one agency, they have to ask for help. And that's when we start loaning resources to each other to support one another. It's been an ethos in the fire service, going back to the beginning of Ben Franklin. And so we loan each other our resources. It's mutual aid. And that's how we support one another for those bigger incidents. That's no different from the winter months when it's could be a technical rescue, a building collapse, et cetera, or in the summer when it's wildfire. In the summer, we just have specific members who are trained and qualified in that discipline.
Oh, gotcha. So let's take a recent example, like the Rowena Creek fire in the Columbia Gorge. Like, how does a giant fire like that affect the actual staffing here in Portland? Because like you said, there's so many different people coming together to help to put this out. Does it put a specific strain in our city, or is it just business as usual?
So from the city of Portland's perspective, we are blessed to have, we're a larger fire department. We've got lots of firefighters, and we've grown our wildland response team to a level that we can, number one, cover our first priority, which is the city of Portland for wildland fires, for regular response. But when a partner asks for our assistance, we can then surge firefighters to assist them and then make sure that our city is covered as well, because we're blessed with a larger department and more people. It's much more difficult for smaller agencies in the county to help out. They do, but it's much more impactful for them.
Well, I feel like every summer we're like, this is going to be the worst wildfire season ever. And we heard similarly about this coming season. How's it shaping up so far in your eyes?
Well, it's certainly gotten off to a quick start, although these days, it always seems like it's a quick start. When I started in the fire service in Oregon over 20 years ago, we didn't have significant wildfires in the state until August, September. Those were our 2 months. And in the last 10 years, it's crept more and more into June. I think I deployed once in late May. So things are changing, and it's affecting the frequency with which we go out to assist, whether it's in our county or to neighboring counties or across the state.
Right. Well, as Multnomah County Fire Defense Board Chief, as you mentioned, you're the one who declares a burn ban.
I do officially put out the statement. We do that in alignment with the Oregon Department of Forestry's Molalla unit. So we generally follow their lead. But if you note in my press release, every agency is allowed to choose and implement their own burn ban as well. But I do it for our county, but all the fire departments within the county can do it earlier than when I say.
Oh, gotcha.
That's my point.
Yeah, and you declared one countywide starting July 1st.
Correct.
Is that unusually early, or is that regular?
It's pretty regular. Honestly, ODF tries to wait till just after the July 4th because it's really hard to get compliance around the 4th. But this year, the conditions warranted just going to a straight July 1st burn ban.
Yeah. I'm just curious here. Has your job killed your love of fireworks? When you see fireworks, even if controlled, is there a little bit of part of you that's just has a bit of PTSD, or is just I don't like this? Or are you able to sit back and go, you know what, this is a beautiful show? No, I can enjoy a good show that's put on safely for the public and stuff like that. So no, I still love a good fireworks show. Okay. Well, my wife does not, but I do. Really? What is it? The smell? Is it the sound? Noise? The noise. Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, our federal cuts affecting our local fire departments. Time slows down in Walla Walla, Washington. And that's the point. You can experience a vibrant and relaxing getaway, going at your own pace, doing as much or as little as you want. And if you love to eat delicious food and drink good wine, this is your destination. Walla Walla Valley produces everything from wheat to asparagus to strawberries to, of course, their famous Walla Walla sweet onions. So there's plenty of farm-fresh, fine dining from celebrated chefs to explore. But it's also home to more than 130 wineries offering a variety of expressions and vineyard experiences. And all of this is just a beautiful and scenic 4-hour drive from Portland. Go to wallawalla.org to plan your visit today. That's wallawalla.org. You know what can make a long, beautiful Northwest summer evening even more perfect? You add a little wine, some good food, and live music. Now imagine all of this, and you're also in one of Washington's most scenic wine valleys. Visit Walla Walla is inviting us all to experience this kind of magical evening on July 22nd at the Wine Country Amphitheater in Walla Walla, where Alison Krauss and Union Station will be playing the night away, featuring Jerry Douglas and special guest Willie Watson. You can find more information at winecountryconcerts.com. That's winecountryconcerts.com. Well, earlier this year, we heard a lot of worries about how our federal budget cuts could affect our wildfire response this year, specifically in Oregon. Are you seeing any effects of those cuts down just in the county at all, or is that too far away?
We are not seeing anything in the county level, but as of yet, our exposure to federal fire resources is generally around the Mount Hood, supporting the Bull Run and protection of the watershed. But we haven't seen any direct effects as of yet. So, yeah, I can't speak to that.
Yeah. How often are we seeing wildland fires within Portland or on the edge of Portland? Because I know we don't really hear a huge report on it unless you're signed up for the emails or it hits the news because it got out of hand. Have you noticed a bit more or less, or are we on par with the rest of the years before?
Yeah, we're on par. We're obviously a very urban county. So, the routine grass and brush fires that we handle very quickly. We had one this morning and, crews jumped on it quickly. And, it's not something you hear about. The threat is there because we have pockets of very big grass, brush, and timber. And there's always potential with an urban population around these areas. But we haven't seen anything extraordinary so far this summer. But it's definitely, like I was mentioning earlier, things are happening earlier and things demand more resources and more coordination faster because they're, getting up and moving quickly. They need lots of assistance.
Has anything changed post LA fires? Did that shake, your department at all? Or made you think about things differently here in Portland?
What's changed is the attention, the media attention on it.
Yeah.
We haven't drastically changed our concern about urban conflagrations. We have an approach and a plan and we, our coordination with partners in the region is still there. We, obviously take note and talk about in kind of daily meetings, who are the partners? What reminders about who do we call? What is the information they're going to need and we're going to request? Those are obviously significantly impactful incidents. And I think it's very hard for any organization, even an organization as large as LA Fire, to fully prepare for those. They're going to stress any organization to a level beyond that they had kind of imagined.
Right.
So we constantly work on every type of threat that, the city of Portland faces. And an urban conflagration is one that we think about all the time. But that's kind of routine for us. That's our job and what we do.
Yeah. Speaking of LA, like you said, it's been on a lot of people's minds. How much of a threat is something like that happening? How possible would that be in Portland? We have Forest Park. I wondered if that scenario could ever happen here, or if you're just no, there's just too many stops here. There's just, it would never get to that point.
Well, you're never going to get me to say it will never happen.
Right.
I can see conditions where, I worked with a company and we modeled what would happen Labor Day of 2020 if a fire had happened along Highway 30 in that industrial area. And with those winds, what would have happened should that fire have extended into Forest Park? And it would have extended in Forest Park. And any fire in Forest Park, we're going to worry about it when it's in alignment with winds and a slope of any homes or structures upslope from that fire. So that's an example of, where it could happen. Likewise, something on Powell Butte, Rocky Butte, Mount Scott. The city of Portland has its areas that of concern, and we're always thinking through what can we do in the event. But we have the fuels. It's not the same as Southern California, and we don't have homes as densely packed within the fuels like they do. But we have the fuels. We have the terrain, and if the weather conditions are right, we could have something, whether it be to that level. I'm not going to say that, but it will be quite impactful if such a fire occurs.
Well, what do you think people should do to prepare? Like if there were just to be something larger, like what do you guys suggest that Portlanders know about fire safety?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, I think number one is, as we saw in 2020, one of the most direct impacts from wildfire that the city sees is smoke from, neighboring counties that have a significant fire. Mm-hmm. That's hugely impactful to our communities and the health of our communities. So we need to be constantly aware of, fires in the area and have a plan for those people who are especially prone to respiratory issues, have a plan to try and avoid that smoke, be inside for the day. Those type of plans to make sure that their health is impacted to the least degree. If people do live in and around some of Portland's green spaces or up against county lines where, our adjacent counties have more green spaces, they should be fully aware that their home may come under an evacuation notice. And in that sense, there's two things. Multnomah County and the city of Portland will be rolling out a new evacuation notification system soon. And so people should, whenever possible, sign up to receive such notifications and be prepared to follow those recommendations when they go out. Those are the two broadest recommendations I have. And then for, again, those homeowners who live up against the green spaces, they really should make sure that their home is physically prepared. Fires happen, homes burn down from nearby fires because leaves accumulate in the valleys of roofs or in the eaves. Small brush and ornamental shrubbery are up against the house of a flammable structure. Bark around the house, loose debris, things can catch fire, and that's what tends to burn homes down. And so homeowners in those areas should prepare their house so that these potential problems are addressed.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Deputy Chief Barney. We really appreciate your time and I guess assuaging some of our fears of Portland just going up in flames. I feel a little better. I think
the people of Portland and the people of the county, they have excellent fire departments that are well prepared, and we're always constantly working to be ready. So they should be very proud of their firefighters.
Well, that's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.